Hey everyone, welcome to Unqualified Opinions. Today we're going to be looking at the hot seat for some of our NFL quarterbacks. I'm Will, joined by Marko Yurkovich. Joe Flacco is now 20th in all-time passing yards. He just passed Joe Montana, which seems ridiculous. And the biggest thing that's an indicator of is that in this modern NFL, it's air raid, it's pass happy, and you need a quarterback who can win you games. The teams that have franchise quarterbacks are on top. The teams without them are willing to tank for Trevor, tank for Tua, do whatever they can to try to get a hold of that franchise signal caller. I have a couple players here who I think are on the hot seat, a couple quarterbacks who maybe should be gone, maybe shouldn't. So I just have a few questions for each of them, and I just want you to give me a good prediction of what you think their careers are going to turn into. So the three questions I want you to answer are: how safe is their job currently? How good do you think they can be in the future? And where would you say they are in 5 years from now? So first quarterback up, Drew Lock, Denver Broncos.
So with the Denver Broncos, they have a lot of pieces that say contend now. Von Miller, Nick Chubb, a lot of their defense is older, right? But they offensively, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Phillip Lindsay, Melvin Gordon's a bit of an outlier. They just signed him because they had the cap. Why not? He's a talented guy. Can never have enough running backs. But this Denver team is kind of a weird amalgamation. They've got compete now on defense, but young and upcoming on offense. I think Drew Lock fits that. And I know he's had a few injuries this year, and you know, he didn't really get a full season last season. I think he only played the last 5 games, replacing Joe Flacco, I think. Speaking of your stat, which is insane, that he's 20th in passing yards. Anyway, looking at Drew Lock, I think he gets another year after this year as like a test run. And I know like the test runs for young developing quarterbacks is becoming shorter and shorter, like their runway, which I think is really stupid. I think you should give a young guy as long as possible to develop, or else you'll probably see him prosper on another team. So Drew Lock, I think, how safe is his job? Super safe. That he's going to have the end of this year, another year, and maybe another after that. How good can he be? I don't really ever see him being a Pro Bowl caliber guy, but he certainly has the proper build for a standard NFL quarterback. I think he could end up being a middle of the road kind of guy, like a Jared Goff kind of type. In 5 years, he's probably still the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos, assuming they, continue to develop, hopefully make the playoffs a few times. But he's certainly still at least employed in the NFL.
All right, so next up we got another young signal caller. This one might be the most interesting question we have. It's Sam Darnold, New York Jets quarterback.
So this one's really tough because how safe is his job? Well, let's assume that the New York Jets get the first overall pick. It really depends on how the organization and the general manager feel about him versus Trevor Lawrence. One of those two need to get traded. You can't have two quarterbacks of such high quality and acumen on the same team. It's wasteful. I think the betting odds would be that you trade Sam Darnold. New England, Jacksonville, Oakland might need Las Vegas. There's a lot of teams. Maybe Minnesota might need a quarterback here soon. So my sense is that his job is not safe at all. And while he has not gotten a fair shake, even though it's been 3 years, been the most tumultuous 3 years a young quarterback could have asked for. Baker Mayfield in the Browns organization has had 3 more years of stability, I believe, than Sam Darnold has had. I don't think he's gotten a fair shake at all. How good could he be? I don't know. I think there's Pro Bowl talent in there somewhere. It's hard to say. Again, we've had so little time and talent to evaluate him with that it's impossible to really gauge where he's at. In 5 years, he's still a starter in the NFL, most certainly for a different team than the New York Jets.
I think with Darnold, the perks of getting him is a team like the Steelers or the Raiders, I think would be a great fit. He's got NFL experience, but he's still young and talented. I think he's definitely going to be traded. I agree with all that, Marko. Moving on, we now have Danny Dimes, the man himself, the other New York quarterback. Only a second-year player, but already could he be on the hot seat, Marko?
So his job is really safe right now, considering he's a second-year quarterback with no Saquon Barkley. It makes it really hard to judge how he actually is, because Saquon Barkley, you're talking an increase in rushing attempts and an efficient run game. You're talking probably one of the most secure safety valves as far as a running back out of the backfield, maybe other than Christian McCaffrey. So Daniel Jones, his job is safe for now. How good could he be? My thought is he's not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, and Dave Gettleman and the Giants blew this one, taking him 6th overall. Where is he in 5 years? He's definitely cemented himself as a career backup in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I think he gets another shot with another team. I've heard New England could like him as some kind of reclamation project, as they're wont to do. But boy, Danny Dimes, crazy highs. He's set a couple records, but he's also face planted on an 80-yard surefire touchdown run, and that's kind of a great summary for all of New York football right now. So now we're going to go into some more established veterans, and the hot ticket item here is probably Carson Wentz.
So Carson Wentz, how safe is his job? Despite the presence of Jalen Hurts, I think it's relatively safe. And it's the Super Bowl bubble is what I'll call it. And what I mean by that is how long since your previous, Super Bowl appearance or victory do you have until things get ugly? We've been shown that even in the most dire of circumstances, 4 years removed from a Super Bowl loss, finally the Panthers and Falcons stepped up and made change within their organizations. The Eagles won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. I don't think, and they've made the playoffs, despite a weak division and poor playoff appearances, they've still made the playoffs and been consistent. They're not a terrible team. And while you have to remind yourself Carson Wentz was not there for that playoff run or that Super Bowl victory, he's still, tied to that team and their success. And this team is pretty average. And couple that with being in the worst division in football really elevates this team above where they're supposed to be sometimes. So that being said, I think Carson Wentz's job is very safe. How good can he be? I think in his best years, he'll occasionally be a top 10 quarterback. He's never going to be a Pro Bowl talent. I think he's very turnover prone. He's not the greatest decision maker, and he's becoming already super immobile. I know he takes off and runs and it looks okay, but he has one of the slowest 40 times among starting quarterbacks under the age of 30 in the NFL. Part of that's due to more and more mobile guys like Kyler Murray and Lamar getting shots at being a starter, but that's still not a great look. Where is he in 5 years? I say he's still the starting quarterback of the Eagles because they're going to win the NFC East at least 2, 3, maybe 4 times in the next 5 years, unless the Cowboys can get themselves figured out. The Giants and Washington are still a dumpster fire and will be in 5 years. So I think just by the pure fact that their division is so awful, they'll continue to be elevated by proxy. But I'm not sure how good Carson Wentz can actually be, though.
Moving on to an issue near and dear to you, Marco. We got Cam Newton. This was not an attack, but you clearly see a quarterback who there was some dark horse MVP type buzz before the season, who is now fallen off drastically. What do you think here, Marco?
So how safe is his job? Not at all. He's already been shown to be 2 interceptions away from the bench, where Stiddy can get a chance at coming out and saving the Patriots. The dangerous thing for Cam Newton is, how good can he be? Well, we've already seen how good he can be. It's no surprise for a quarterback older than 30 to be on the decline, but the decline has been very sharp, very steep, and I don't think that slows anytime soon. While Bill Belichick is a master operator of offenses and styles, he's been able to really mask Cam Newton's flaws. And even still, Cam Newton has been relatively inept. In his previous 5 games, he's completed 48% of his passes, and that is in one of the most pass-friendly offenses in the NFL with the way the Patriots use the short passing game and build off the run. So I think, where's he going to be in 5 years? Well, I think there's this idea that whenever New England picks up a guy in either a second chance or a last chance, it's kind of like, okay, well, he didn't work in so-and-so, team or organization. But in New England, they find the best in anybody. But you look at the people that fail in New England after failing elsewhere, they're a lost cause. If New England and Bill Belichick and that offense or that organization can't fix a guy, then they're a lost cause. And I don't think Cam Newton is going to sit around and be a backup anywhere, mentor guys. That just doesn't seem to be part of his personality. So in 5 years, Cam Newton is out of the NFL. He's retired, and maybe by a long ways. He might be retired, maybe not after this season. Maybe one really foolish, desperate team gives him a second, or I guess a third chance at this point, but he's out of the league soon.
That's a red hot take, Marco. I kind of agree with that. I think the quarterback who came to mind for me was honestly Ryan Fitzpatrick to a degree, because I could see with his past MVP award, the talent he still has. I could see Cam Newton sticking around a little bit.
But he has such an ego.
Absolutely. I could see him sticking around as like the team that every team would bring him in because they want a little bridge quarterback between next year's draft star. But I think you really might be the first person to truly. I think we could look back at this segment and you could look like a genius there, because that was a very interesting take, Marco. And then moving on to probably the easiest one of these, but a mentionable quarterback anyway. We got Jimmy Garoppolo, the former Golden Boy from New England, the former future MVP type Super Bowl champion quarterback. They thought he was going to be a Super Bowl champion quarterback.
He is a Super Bowl champion quarterback as a backup.
You know what I mean, though, Marco.
Yeah, I know.
What you got for Jimmy G?
So Jimmy G, how safe is his job, considering he got injured? And let's start with this. There's two different types of injuries, right? There's chronic injuries where a guy continues to have shoulder or knee trouble. And then there's the freak accidents. And Jimmy G had a freak accident 2 years ago with the ACL tear on the sideline, hit against the Chiefs. And then we showed what a healthy and competent Jimmy G can do, albeit with a great supporting cast and a tremendous defense. They made it to the Super Bowl. And this year, from game one with the Nick Bosa injury, it wasn't the 49ers' year. And even with all this trouble, they still won 4 games. And honestly, they're probably going to tank after this, considering every single player they have of note has at least missed one or all of the season and will miss more games. So they're tanking. They're going to get more great weapons, great defenders, good, solid offensive linemen. So they're going to continue to restock. And Jimmy G, all he has to do is continue to be competent. So how good can he be? I think everyone sees through the ruse that he's really just a game manager. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are, willing to decrease your salary, which he probably will be after this initial contract is up, and he knows he's not that good, no one's going to pay him that well, takes a pay cut, allows his weapons to be paid, and San Francisco continues to stock on defense. This is going to be a great team for years and years and years to come, considering how solid they are at general manager and head coach. Again, he just needs to be competent, passable. 5 years from now, he is still the San Francisco 49ers quarterback. They will, this year withstanding, make the playoffs 3 of the 4 next years until this 5-year ultimatum is met, and they will make at least one NFC championship game. This is a very solid team. It's built very well. This year is an outlier within what this team and this organization is, but Jimmy G is very passable.
I think that's another really hot take too, Marco. I'm almost in the opposite camp there. I think with Matt Ryan trade rumors floating around there, and then the Falcons will be picking in the middle of the draft, probably there's quarterbacks like Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Kyle Trask in there. This could actually be Garoppolo's last year, maybe. So we're going to disagree on that. Overall, though, great content, Marco. You had some awesome points. What do you guys think of these 6 quarterbacks we mentioned? Do you think there's futures for them? Who's gone? Who's in? Leave your own unqualified opinions down below. And we'll give a little shout out to whoever has the best Joe Flacco related comments for us.
All right, yeah, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys next time.